walk you through the ending of the Borodin Symphony No. 2 Excerpt, starting at measure 50. I'm going to talk about fingerings that I would suggest, and some bowings, and articulation. Articulation referring to how we bow the note to get the sound, how long we bow it, what it sounds like. So, starting at measure 50, that box that says 50, we have on B, which we're playing with first finger on the A string, and it has an accent, so we're going to make it short and punchy. Alright, so those are those B's. We're going to counting our beats to make sure we stay in time. So this is what I would do: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, at measure 52, we have the same notes that we played in the beginning, but it's half as fast. They're quarter notes instead of eighth notes. In the beginning, when we play these notes, we do down up. We do separate bows, but here we're going to do all down bows. So it's different from the beginning with how we bow it. So this is what it's going to look like. I just do retakes, and I make all these nice and punchy, and they sound ferocious. Alright? 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Alright? So that's what that's going to look like. That's what that's going to sound like. Alright? Just down, 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 down. Nice and strong. Okay, then we land on a long B, a whole note B, which is tied to a whole note A, which is tied to a quarter note G. This is measure 58. So after I play this for the second time, and underneath it says diminuendo, dim for short. So diminuendo means we're going to be, the volume is going to be dying away. It's going to be getting softer as we go. That kind of naturally happens if we just try to hold our bow. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is kind of a bowing trick, is to make sure you save enough bow so you can play those 3 notes all in one down bow. So you might just start right there and just practice doing that. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I think for me, like the real thing is slurring to that G in that down bow, so because you're going to end up kind of towards the upper middle of the bow, maybe almost to the tip by the time you get to that G. So just to reiterate, at measure 58, where we have the whole note B, it's going soft, so you don't need to use a ton of bow. So I try to use maybe a lower half a bow, and I don't really go farther than like maybe the middle, not too much farther than that, because then we have enough bow to do. This is piano, so it's soft, so it's okay to do this kind of towards the tip, but kind of around the middle of the bow, I'm able to do the next bit. So you can see I'm bowing all this kind of in the middle part of the bow, where I can play a little softer more easily. So starting with that D in measure, what is this, 61, I think, where we have the D, E flat, G. We play G on the E string, probably around the middle of the bow, and then we have to go over to the D string. Alright, and this is just easy fingering, 1 on E flat, all slurred, and then connecting this, I shift up to 4 on F sharp, and I play 4, 2, shift to 2, 1. Alright, so 4, 2, slur those, shift, then slur those with an up bow, slur these with an up bow. Then I have my open D, and then G is still my down bow. So I'm going to demonstrate that. crescendo markings underneath. It goes from the F to the D. So as I play this, I build, and so I might use a little bit more bow, a little bit more weight, perhaps, or maybe play a little teeny bit closer to the bridge. And then as I get to that open D, I can let it die away. Maybe come back towards the fingerboard. Yeah, and then we do it again, so same thing again. So starting from, this is measure 61. Again. Alright. And then we have this. So, because we end down bow on this D, and then probably ends up up bow, so just do this up bow on this G. But I go 4 on the D string for this G, and I go 4, 2, shift to 2 on E, and 1 on E flat. And I keep going down, and I shift to 4 on C sharp, then shift to 2 on 1 on B, and 1 on B flat. Alright, so this is starting at the piano. I believe it's measure 60, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 68. So R and G, up bow, 4. 4, 2, shift, 2 on E, 1 on E flat, open, 4 on C sharp, shift, 2 on B, 1 on A B flat, open A. I'm going to do that without talking. It starts off piano, but has a crescendo written underneath. That's why I'm building in my dynamic. So one more time. And by the time I get to that A, I'm very big and dynamic, very loud. It's going to get really powerful in just a couple seconds. So after this point, this is the pickup to measure 73. I have a B flat and then A. And they does this about 4 times. And we're just gonna do down bows, all down bows, nice and strong. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. All right, that's the end of the excerpt. So that's that. So let me go through and start at measure 50. I'm gonna play this whole thing to show you how it sounds and what it looks like. So I'm gonna count off a whole measure and start at measure 50. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Did vocalizations to my rest to show you that I'm thinking about the rest to make sure I'm playing in time. In your audition, you're probably not going to want to count your rest out loud, but in your mind you should be thinking something, either counting or thinking something to help you keep track of where you are when you have rests.